Just like last year, I got an email with an invitation to come and ride Honda motorcycles with no strings attached. Last year I did a test ride with a Rebel 1100 cc's, and it was really fun experiencing riding a bike that was totally different than mine. I'll put a link on the screen as well if you want to go watch that. This year though, there was also a Saturday option, which wasn't the case last year, so I asked a few of my riding buddies to come and join me for these test rides. This was a lot of fun because we could share our thoughts during the ride, but this also resulted in having less usable footage for the channel because I was always talking Flemish. So that's why I'm doing these voiceovers. I hope it's just as good as me talking in the video. This year I decided to test ride the Africa Twin dual clutch transmission and the Transalp 750. I also got a bonus test ride with the CB650R, which again was a completely new experience, but I'll leave that for another video. This video is first impressions only, and I should say for reference, I've ridden mostly on the CB500X and I've done some rides with the Tenere 700 and the Versys 650, but never really a modern 1000cc adventure bike. There is a reason for that. As some of you may know, I'm a bit skeptic towards 1000cc adventure bikes to begin with, so just keep that in mind. I'll show you some footage of me riding and I'll subtitle the relevant info I'm saying in Flemish, and then I'll give you the conclusion of my first impressions.
Oké. Je moet zelfs iets schakelen. Maar gast, ik heb zoveel knoppen op mijn stuur, ik kan er niet aan het. Follow, follow. Ah, je trekt. Ik vind eigenlijk die DCT niet zo tof. Ik zou eigenlijk wel schakelen. Die heeft dat gezegd, ja, maar ik durf er niet aankomen. Ah ja, ze kon op sport zetten. Tour mode. Sport. Ik sta op sport. En die is gericht op off-road, dus in eigenlijk redelijk veel torque. Voor een 1100. Dus ja, lage toeren, dus die trekt heel hard in het begin. Die heeft ook cruise control, ik weet niet waar dat staat, maar... Ah, hier is dat cruise control. Het is echt zoeken, want voor mij het is een limousine of zo.
Here I'm doing a little walk around with the bikes. I gotta say, the way the Africa Twin looks, I think it's just beautiful. It looks so robust. It's the colors are awesome. They look very good. It's also quite lean, so it doesn't look that fat like some bigger bikes do, which, yeah, I think are all positive points in my mind. Yeah, of course I had to test the torque of this bike. This is by far the most torquey bike I've ever been on, especially because the torque starts at such low RPMs. It really feels like you're accelerating all the way through. And yeah, that's awesome.
Van de dingen is als de cruise control. Ja. Ja, we gaan in de lucht. Heb je gezien? Had ik rem? Ja, hij gaat dan naar beneden.
So yeah, to conclude, this is one of the most, if not the most, beautiful adventure bike in my opinion. I love the aggressive, lean, robust look and the stock color scheme. It's super comfortable, it's very torquey, and again the torque pulls from a very low RPM, so it feels extra powerful and it just keeps pulling in second gear all the way up to over 100 kilometers an hour. Sadly, I didn't get to go off-road with it, and I forgot to stand up on it as well, so I have no thoughts on the standing position, but it feels like it would do a good job. So now the $1,000,000 question, would I buy this bike? The answer is no. I know I've been very positive about the bike, but the reason I wouldn't buy this bike is the same as any other 1000cc adventure bike. It's way too expensive because of the higher cc, and you can't really use it. Where I live, the speed limit is 70 kilometers an hour and 100 to 120 kilometers per hour on the highway. It's very heavy to maneuver if you're standing still, not mentioning if you're in mud or sand. The fuel consumption, also because of the higher cc's, is not as good as like a 500cc bike, and for me that's just not worth it, because a 500cc bike has got enough power for the streets I ride it on. And lastly, in my opinion, it's a bit boring on small tarmac roads. On lower cc bikes you can use more of the engine capacity, which I find to be more fun on the scenic route. I know it's an endless argument, big versus mid-range adventure bikes, but this is just my opinion. Feel free to disagree in the comments. So yeah, this is where I end the video. Next week will be the Transalp first impressions, which is way closer to what I would buy if I were to upgrade from the CB500X. So yes, I'll leave you here. Stay bright and upright.